Welcome back to Okita Talks, and today we will be discussing decentering men. I have three videos I want to share with you guys, and I want to discuss what does 50-50 look like in a household with a man in today's day and age where men are told all they need to do is provide and protect. Now, if a man is not able to provide fully for the home, is he a provider? If you're splitting bills 50-50, is that man a provider? Are you living with a roommate? Are you paying half the bills, still taking full amount of the home front? So you're cooking, you're cleaning. Are you the primary care when it comes to the children with a man living in your house, but also splitting the bills 50-50 with him? And if you're comfortable with doing that, I want to ask you why. Because if a man is comfortable with you doing half his job, because if you're paying half the bills, you're doing half of his job. So you are providing for that man. Why isn't he okay with doing half of the housework? And also, when it comes to the children, being an active role in the children's life. And I mean, making dinner for them, getting them ready for bed, getting them ready to go off to school, picking them up from school. When they need something, are they there? Or is everything to do with the children left to you, the mother, while you're paying 50% of the bills and providing for this grown, able bodied man? And also, I have a video, and the lady in the video, you guys know her. She's the sprinkle sprinkle lady. She's going to discuss what it looks like when you are paying 50% of the bills for a man whose only job, according to men, they're only supposed to provide and protect. That's it. So when you have an able bodied man in your house that isn't provided, what does that mean for you? What is he saying to you? So we're gonna jump into the sprinkle sprinkle video first, since I already spoke on that one. Let's jump into it, and then I have two videos from two other content creators, and they're gonna discuss decentering men and what that really looks like and what that really means to women these days. Okay, so let's jump into sprinkle sprinkle.
Y'all are too sensitive, and so many people were asking me how to decenter men. Y'all care too much about them, and you care more about them than they care about you. This is why you're always being heartbroken. This is why you're always upset. This is why you're always in a therapist's office. This is why you're always taking medication for anxiety. This is why you're always worried about this, because you have not decentered men. You don't know the man's purpose in your life. That's what it is. And y'all are too sensitive. When people tell you the truth, y'all want to make excuses for it. Okay? A man is a provider. If he can't provide, he don't need to be there. Period. You doing charity work if he in your life and he is not providing. You are literally doing charity work. I said it. So some of y'all are too sensitive and y'all don't understand it. If you living with a grown able-bodied man and paying 50-50 and doing this, you literally giving back to charity. Because a man, only one job is providing. Protecting and providing. In this day and age, providing is protecting. If he's not benefiting you at all. Something wrong with you. You desperate. You want approval. You seek validation from a man that don't even probably like you because he's not providing. Okay?
Now, I will tell you guys this. I was unfortunate enough to come across this girl that actively took anxiety medication, like daily. And she actually told me herself that once her and her boyfriend were separated, she didn't need to take her anxiety medication anymore. Less than 2 weeks of them being separated, she stopped taking them. Guess what? The cause of her actual anxiety in real life is her man. And not only was that the only takeaway that I got from that statement, she proceeded with the relationship. You are actually taking prescribed medication to stay with this person, but you're delusional enough to tell yourself, this is the person for me. I'm going to combat the entire world for this person, even though I need actual medication to be in his presence. I don't know what level of delusional that is, but I would never aspire to be there. And I don't want anyone else to. But I know there are women in the world with that same mindset. You're telling yourself that this is normal. It's okay. He loves me. I love him. That is not love. You need to be highly medicated in order to stay with him. The absence of him, you no longer need to be medicated. What else? What other signs do you need to know? Not only are you in an unhealthy relationship, but this man is emotionally abusing you and using you. Because let's be very clear, he called that girl when he needs something done. His exact words were, she is his assistant. He tells her when to jump, go here, there, and anywhere. She's on it just like that. She will forsake anything, her children, her family, it doesn't matter. Once he says go, she is gone. Heavily medicated, I will have you know. But she's going to get right to it because her master gave her an order. This is what I think about when I see the term decentrament. I would never want to be that delusional or have that low self esteem to tell myself that when someone outside of myself, let alone a man that is actively cheating on you, has kids outside of you, tells you to jump, you run and you jump and do exactly what he's telling you to do. If you can convince yourself that this is the type of love that you deserve, this is the type. Matter of fact, take love out of it because again, I don't subscribe to that nonsense. If you can convince yourself that this is the type of life you want, to spend your days trying to convince yourself that the man you're catering to, the man you have made the center of your world, who disregards your children from other men, disregards you on a daily basis, has multiple relationships with other women outside of you. You need to be heavily medicated in order to stay with this man. But you can tell yourself, yeah, he chose me. No, ma, he chose the weakest link. You are the weakest link. Men love a woman who they don't have to change for. Men love a woman who they can be just as disrespectful and disgusting to you and you accept it. And better, a man's favorite type of woman is a type that does not require him to take any accountability for any of his actions. A man's favorite type of woman is a woman who is still going to beg him for more and more and more, no matter how much he abuses her. A man's favorite type of woman is a woman where he can physically assault you, and while you are on the floor in pain, you are still telling him you love him and you don't want him to go. That is a man's favorite type of woman. You know why? He never has to change for you. Even after he revealed who he truly is to you, you still tell yourself, I want him. Because you want to prove some point to the world that you got him, even though anyone in the world can have him. These are the type of men who have multiple relationships with other women. These are the type of men who create homes with other women. And then the Delulu at home can tell herself, well, at least he comes home to me. Because that is the only requirement. At least he comes home to me. Doesn't matter how many days, weeks, months, or years he's away with another woman. At least when that relationship is over with the other woman, because the other woman's always going to leave him. The other woman who he truly wants will always leave him because of who he truly is to his core. A disrespectful, narcissistic, physically abusing, and emotionally abusing man will always get left, no matter how much money he spends. But his ultimate goal in life is to find a woman that will put up with him at his worst and still beg him to stay. That is where you come in. That is where the weaker link comes in. That is where a woman who has not decentered men from her mindset comes in. Men love a woman like that because no matter how terrible of a person he truly is, you are going to preach to the hills he's a good man because he pays the rent while you're still paying the utilities, while you're doing everything in your house, while even if you leave your child with him, you still have to come back and feed the child and change the diapers. You will still sing his praises to the hill because he pays the rent. That is the only requirement. And he comes back when his other relationships with the women he truly wants ends. Because no one else is going to put up with him. Men know who their weakest link is. The girl who was always saying, he always comes back to me. Yeah, ma, you were the weakest link. The ones he truly wants will always leave them because they love themselves more than You love yourself. So he will always come back to the one with the lowest self esteem because you require no change from him. You don't require him to take any type of ownership of any of his bad behaviors. You accept them. You accept them and you still sing his praises because he pays the rent. And the wild part is, men like that pay bills everywhere else too. All the other women that they're with, they're paying bills for them too. But you accept mediocrity because you are unable to find it in yourself to have any level of self esteem. You have to have no self esteem whatsoever to allow a man to disrespect you, beat on you, cheat on you, create babies with other men, and still convince yourself that he chose me. That's such a sad life to me. It's so sad. There isn't any amount of money in the world that could convince me to stay in the presence of a man like that. That is not a good person. That is not a good man in any way, shape, or form. So I would never encourage a woman to not only stay with that, but to parade that around as if you won some prize. You didn't win a prize, man. No matter how you check it out, that's the leftovers. Because the women he truly wants have left him. He came back to you when the women he wanted all left him. Threw his things out or literally just packed up their things and switched towns. I would encourage every woman to work on their self esteem. If you can accept things like that from a man, you should not be dating. You are not ready for a relationship. Men love insecurity. Men love a woman with no self esteem. They can tell you who you are. They get to build the bear when they come across women like that. They tell you who you are going to be and who you're not. So I have another video. This lady, she's going to be explaining what decentering truly looks like for women. And it's not necessarily a bashing men or we hate men campaign. It's really saying, I choose myself. I choose my self respect. I choose my peace. And I'm not going to allow a man to come into my life who's only going to devalue me, reduce my self esteem, and really, for the way that we say it online, humble me. So she does a great job of breaking down what decentering men truly looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and play that video and then we could jump into a conversation.
Decentering men is such a beautiful thing because it allows your identity, self-esteem and self-worth to be rooted in something which is a lot more solid and a lot more consistent, which is, for us as believers, our identity in Christ. But even outside of that, just the genuine liking of our authentic self. Like, I've gone on this journey, as you said, of self-discovery, and I like the person who I actually am. And I don't feel like I need to change just because someone doesn't like me. I change when I realize that this is no longer in alignment with the woman that I dream of being, right? Yeah. And so I think this journey of decentering men, and like as it's arisen as more of a trend and people mentioning it more on social media, I think it's actually a call to women to fall in love with themselves outside of someone loving them, right? And actually saying it's okay to want a husband, to want a boyfriend, to want to be booed up, but that's not the be all and end all of life. You don't need to put your life on hold until you achieve that. And even seeing it as an achievement is another issue, right? You don't need to see your life as incomplete because you aren't in a romantic relationship. And also, like you were saying, this man doesn't have to be, whether you're even married to him or not, doesn't need to be the center of your whole world, but he can be a really nice part of it, right? And I think for a lot of us, we've seen women lose themselves in relationships because even if they were doing the whole I'm on my self-discovery, as soon as they are in a romantic relationship, they center that man in their whole life. And, you know, it's seen as, well, I'm just catering to my man. And it's like, yeah, absolutely. But also, one, make sure that is reciprocal because you deserve to take up as much space in your romantic relationship. Two, ask yourself, has he put you at the center of his world? And I think for a lot of men, like, they don't put their romantic partner at the center of their world, and that's not an unhealthy thing. I think it's because they've just learned to be individual.
I don't know if it's just her accent, but everything she said it sounds so beautiful when she says it. But I totally agree with what she's saying. Like, I've seen women be on this, self love, self preservation journey. And once they get into a relationship, it's my man, my man, my man. Everything is about pleasing this man, pleasing this man. And when it comes to an end, guess what? Or in the midst of it, she realizes that energy is not being reciprocated. Men do such a great job of gaslighting in the beginning and love bombing in the beginning, where you think this is what the relationship is going to look like throughout, forever. And that's never the case. Men start out very strong, and then once they feel like, okay, I got you, it's done. They're not taking you out as much, or even if they are, it's still very much you're doing things by yourself type of thing. Even when you're in the same room, that energy does change. So really, it's up to women. If you are still interested in dating and being with men, still find a way to provide that same energy that you're looking into to cater for your men, to also cater to yourself, cater to your needs. Since I've had my apartment since I was 18. Like, I've been on my own since I was 18, and I always had what I called me days. So Saturdays, I would get my hair done, my nails done, massage, go shopping, whatever it is that I wanted to do. I would take myself out to eat, I go to the movies, I do things like that by myself. So if you're in a relationship, and even if you're doing these things with your man, still have those me days where they're directly centered around yourself, which you like. Like, I read a lot. So even if you have a book where it's a couple minutes out of the day or a couple hours out of the day where you're just in your corner, you're just in your bubble, just reading your book, still ensure that you're doing the things that you like. If you enjoyed reading, writing, poetry, whatever you like, don't lose your identity fully because you now have a man. Because one thing is for certain, a man will not lose his identity because of a relationship with a woman. I have seen, and I'm sure most of us have seen, women will leave the country, leave the state, stop their careers because of the words a man has said to them, or the promises a man has made to them. And I will tell you this: a promise is a comfort to a fool. You stop doing anything that brings you joy off the strength that you now have a man, you will regret it. You will regret it. I have never seen a man say, hey, you know what? I dropped out of grad school, or I dropped out of undergrad school because my girl says she's going to do this and she's going to take care of me and she's going to. Men are not making such life altering decisions based on a relationship. It's not a thing for them. So I really want women to get out of that mindset where you allow a man to completely change the course of your life. If you wanted to go to school prior to meeting that man, go get your degree. You wanted to be a lawyer, doctor, whatever it is that you had in your mind, whatever your goals were you had before him, still ensure you were doing that throughout your relationship. Because one thing is for certain, you are going to regret not doing it. You are going to. Whatever he wants to do, he's still going to find a way to get it done with you. It's still going to happen. So make sure you keep the pieces of you. Do not lose sight of who you are, the things that make you happy. Because once you are unable to really recognize yourself in the mirror, once you look up and say, hey, it's been 5 years, I didn't finish that degree, I didn't finish that book, I didn't finish that artwork, you now have things to really regret. And as a human being, you're really going to tell yourself it's his fault. And it's really not. It's yours, because you prioritized him over your own needs. Do not make anyone more important in your life than you have for yourself. You can tell yourself you love a man all you want to. Make sure you love yourself more. Because love is not unconditional. No matter what a man tells you, his love is not unconditional. But what truly needs to be unconditional is the love and respect you show to yourself, because that's not going anywhere. No matter how long your relationship lasts with that man or anyone else in the world, your relationship with yourself is going to be the longest. And people will treat you how you treat yourself. So if a man sees that you don't even keep the obligations that you had planned for yourself prior to him, or you just stop doing certain things for yourself now that he's in your life, he has taken a mental note. Because what that now says to him is, I also don't have to follow through in any of my plans because you don't even do the things for yourself that you were doing prior to him. So if there's no goal to really complete, to fulfill within yourself, he will mirror that. And it's going to feel a lot worse when it comes from him. And then when you realize that you taught him how to treat you. So just some food for thought. I have one more video I want to get into with you guys, and then we're going to wrap up.
One of the best realizations to come to is that you don't have to be anything for anybody. All you have to do is be yourself. When I used to be super men-centered, I used to think I would have to be a certain way for men to like me, to respect me, to choose me. Essentially, I was a pick me because the things that I was doing wasn't necessarily for myself. It was for the approval of men. But once I decentered men, I found my worth, I found my value, I started to love myself and respect myself. I realized that I didn't have to cater to the needs of men. No. I have to cater to the needs of myself and what I want for me. When you make men the center of your focus, the way you move about is what's going to make him happy. What can I do to please him? It's all about him. And it's like you forget all about yourself and what makes you happy. You know what I mean? So it's so important for you. If you are a woman who you find yourself doing things to please men, to gain validation from men, like realize that you don't need their validation. You don't need to please anybody but yourself. It is not even worth it. The way that these men treat women nowadays, like it is not even worth trying to get validation from them because more times than not, they don't even like you like that. They like other men. A lot of these men are undercover. A lot of these men are gay and don't like women and don't respect women and just use women as a cover or use women for validation. They don't really like you like that anyway. So why are you going out of your way to cater to this man, to get validation from him, to get his approval? You know what I mean? Like live your life for you and stop basing your values and the things that you are doing around the attention or the validation and the approval of men. Life becomes so much happier when you're living for yourself rather than living to please other people. It's not worth it. I promise you, it is not worth it.
Now, you already know I completely agree with her. One, it's definitely not worth it. This idea of putting a man before you, and the wild part is, these men will tell you you're supposed to look at them as if they're your God. Which is wild because they themselves don't even believe in God. So you are idealizing another human being, praising another human being, which by the word of their own Bible tells you that that's a sin. But we won't even get into that. And the other part is, it's not even a question to me that these men literally just use women. That's it. You're there to be used. You're there to be used for your free services under the name of love. You are there to be used for your labor under the name of love. And the truth and the reality is, they don't even like us. They really do not. Men are so sick and tired of trying to find new ways to show women that they don't even like you. Like, if it wasn't for services that they needed women to do for them, they wouldn't even truly be around y'all. Like, real life. So, in all reality, I don't get why women don't start looking into the services that they provide to men for free and realizing the value that they give to them. Listen, I don't care if he's paying your rent. If that's all he's doing and buying you what, maybe $200, $300 tickets for you to fly out of the country every now and then, like if that's all he's not doing anything. That's the very least he needs to be doing, because the psychological toll that he has taken in your life, if it's worth your rent while you're paying the utilities, if it's worth that to you, then you go ahead. You continue on full force in your life. However, I have never had a conversation with a man and they have said they would put up with a fraction of what they expect or demand women to put up with for the sake of a relationship. Not a single man. There isn't a single man I've spoken to. The very things that they expect you to take in a relationship, they wouldn't dare put up with it if they were women. Would not. And I know a lot of you women already know that, because you know the moment you even try to have a conversation with these boys that you claim are your men, you see where it goes. It's not a conversation. It now turns into an interrogation and then quickly goes from that to an actual assault. So you know he doesn't even want to hear about what he's doing to you. So that already tells you what he would not put up with if the tables were turned. But if you can still tell yourself that this is the type of life you deserve, then again, no one's here to tell you what to do with your life. But to the women who have decentered men and have found values in themselves, their own self-worth, and moving forward and pursuing all their dreams and goals, I wish you ladies all the best. All the best. And to the others, catch up. Catch up. That man is not ever going to stop living his life due to you now stepping in. It's never going to happen. So ensure you have some goals outside of him and that you're actively working on them, because he's never going to stop chasing whatever it is that makes him happy, including other vaginas. Let's be clear on that. So do not lose sight of who you are because of a man, because men only stay where is actually benefiting them. And if you know you're bringing some type of a value to that man's life, i.e. allowing him to just do certain things and live a life, because you're paying 50% of his bill. So you're still helping him save money to go provide for the other woman. So you are indeed providing a value to him. And if the only thing you're requiring is that he comes home at night, you don't love yourself at all. So you should already know he cannot love you, because he sees the choices you're making. If you're the type of woman that's okay with your kids even moving out of your house because he cannot stand seeing how your new man treats you, and you're okay with that, you are not a woman. You are not a mother. You are no mother. And he sees all of that too. You put your own child. Your own child doesn't want to stay in the house with you, based on your current relationship with your new boyfriend. Women, you have to start choosing yourselves. You really have to start choosing yourselves. A man will do to you what you allow him to. And if your own child doesn't want to be around that, that says a lot about what's really going on inside your house than anything else. But I do want to thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for watching today. And I hope we learned something from this video. As always, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about this video, and if you have any experience in this area, let me know as well in the comments. And if you are a woman who is also a decentered man, please, let's talk about it inside the comments. Again, this is Okita Talks, and thank you guys for watching another episode. Have a great day.